Well, hi everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and welcome. For those of you who are new to the broadcast, let me just explain how we do this. What we're going to do is just spend a couple of minutes up front catching up with some news and views with people, and then we will get into today's subject, which is the topic today is finding new uses for everyday items. And I'm really excited about doing this because I'm one of those people, I love to reuse things, and I'm always looking for interesting ways in which to do it. So hopefully you will get some good ideas here. And if you don't, then maybe we will have an opportunity to research some and find out some good ones. So if you have any particular items that you'd like to reuse in some way, but you just haven't found a good use for it, let us know and we'll see what we can do. So that's going to be in a few minutes. Hi there, Jody. Good to see you. And I'm very proud of myself. I did. Hi there, Kim. I actually did do what Trina suggested for lunch. I had dinner for lunch. And I was really good. I had half a chicken and some potato and some um, vegetables, and that seemed to work very well. So I was very proud of myself for that. I also packed up another box. So I've been quite busy, and I did not rest. Actually, I lie. I rested, I didn't sleep. I definitely took it easy, but I didn't sleep. How's that for being honest? Okay. So I don't know about you, but I'm quite excited about doing this broadcast today. Yeah, it's difficult to do. When I say it's difficult to do, it's I found it definitely, getting balanced is very, very difficult for me, and I'm pretty certain Beth has the same problem. Now, once you start going, you don't want to stop. So that's just the way that is. Kim, how are you doing? We haven't seen you in a while. So how's your health and how are you doing? Actually, while I've got this on, I better just check about while I'm waiting for Kim to let me know. Just let me check what the birthdays are this week. Oh, really? There we go. Let me see whose birthday we've got coming up. All right, we got Leslie's birthday on the 19th. So that's coming up. And the next one I saw. We don't actually, that's it for the rest of the month, I think, unless I've forgotten somebody, which is always possible. Hi, Laura. Good to see you, honey. You've been sick with your asthma. I wondered about that. And is it under control now, or are you still struggling? Yeah. Um, I relate to it because if I don't watch myself very carefully in the winter, I get bronchitis and then an asthmatic reaction comes in as well. So hi there, Nana. I find it, catching breath gets very difficult if I don't behave myself in the winter, which is why I am always saying to people, if they tell you to go to bed and rest, do it, because I've paid the price way too often. So any news from Nana? Nana, any news that we need to be updated by or with or about that people that might watch it on the replay that know you would like to know? Um, I was saying at the lunchtime broadcast that I found out that the space I've got in the in in my new to me home will be half what I thought in terms of kitchen space. There isn't any. So I'm busy now. You just smashed two fingers. You know something, Nana? I'm sorry to laugh, but it's like you've got to be one of the most accident prone people I've met. Yes, of course I saw the storm, sweetie. Yeah. Yeah, I was up most of the night watching that. Yeah. But I mean, thank you for mentioning it. The other thing is, are you all aware that a super typhoon is about to hit Hong Kong? And so it's not just this storm, it's the one that's about to hit Hong Kong that you know, and you know how many people are living in Hong Kong. And you know how much glass there is in those buildings, those high-rise buildings. And so to me, it's just like this one is going to perhaps, you know, do as almost as much damage. I believe that the death toll, unfortunately, um, in Carolina is now up to 5, and I guess that's the beginning of what will be a lot more, I'm afraid. So I tried to put up a post, but actually it didn't go through. So it must have been Facebook editing me. I wanted to know how you guys felt about, you know, I'm not talking about the people that couldn't afford to evacuate, but the ones that could and chose not to. And those that kept their children with them and their pets. I don't know about you. It was like, is that abuse? You know, is it abuse if you have the ability to get your children to safe ground, that you keep them in a house that is about to be in a hurricane, or that you keep your pets in a house that's about to be hit with a hurricane? Now, I understand that if you have, you know, if you have 5 dogs or something and 3 horses, you know, it's going to be very difficult to rehouse them in a hurry. I understand that. That's a slightly different thing. But anyway, I don't know, I got to thinking, I got upset, I got angry with the idea that adults had made the decision to stay, but had kept their children with them. And I'm going, wow, I don't know about that. That to me, I'm not happy. And that's just who I am. So, and you know that I keep thinking about that man that's on those Outer Banks that chose not to leave. And I'm going, you know, that wind keeps shifting and that wind keeps bashing, and it's going to keep doing it for another 36 hours. I hope he's okay, but I'm not so sure about that. But the good news is that the Cajun Navy is in now. You all know about the Cajun Navy, right? And so that always, I don't know why that always makes me smile when those guys come in. And they sort of they have grown in numbers as each disaster happens. They obviously have started this de facto you know, backup rescue crew. But they've come in with their boats and their people, and they reckon they've already done a lot of rescues and reckon they're still there for at least 3 days. So that's quite interesting to hear, and good for them. They're obviously the sort of people who like to go in and save people. And, you know, I see that there are quite a lot of locals that actually have created their own group as well. Well, I think this is the whole thing, that here is the point, though, Kim. I mean, you got to give fair credit for this, that everybody thought that the water would rise probably 9 feet. They didn't know it was going to go to 11. And so, you know what I mean? And now what's happening right now as we talk is the most dangerous, perhaps, because you've had the tide going out all day, but, you know, all the energy is there because the hurricane is trying to push all the waves on shore, but the tide's been pulling out. And so they've got all this energy is now, and now the tide's about to come back in. And when that comes in, it's got all this power behind it. So they're fearing that tonight's surge could be worse by quite a bit. And, a long way up a long way up those rivers. It's not just at the coast. It's like a long way up those rivers. And then we've got the bigger problem, with all due respect, which is going to be when all that water that's been rain eventually tries to get back down to the sea, and that's going to be even greater flooding. So I'm really glad not to be living in that area, I must say. I believe that the municipalities are going to have to, or cities are going to have to rethink their emergency management, and you have the right. Excuse me, you have the right not to leave your house. I do understand that. My issue is not that you choose not to leave it. My issue is that you choose to keep your children with you or your pets. Because I think to me that is abusive. And, you might have the mentality to be able to cope with a life-threatening situation, but what is the trauma you're putting your children under? Because, that is not, you're without hydro, you're without anything. You've probably got toxic water at your feet, and you're breathing in those fumes for days. I don't think that is something I'd want my pets to go through, or the elderly. Yes. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know I was pretty upset about that, but such is life. Okay, let's get on to the fun stuff. So Jody, let's put that in at 12 minutes. And today's topic that we're going to be talking about is reusing stuff. And what I thought we'd do is actually talk about, are there any items that you would like to reuse that you haven't found a use for yet? And then what ones do you have that are your favorite? What I'm looking for more than anything is, this is not the normal use for this thing. Now, some of you, for example, know that I take aluminum foil and I clean it after, as long as it's not greasy or anything. If I've just used it to cover a plate or something, I will wash it well, and then I will turn it into a ball, and I take those balls and I put them in a sock, and I throw the tied up sock into my dryer, and I don't need dryer sheets. I think some of you know that I do that. I haven't used dryer sheets in a year. And it's like, why didn't I know about this before? It's so easy and so simple. So that would be a secondary use for aluminum foil. Does anybody have any other use that you use aluminum foil in a strange way? Do any of you use it in any strange way? I just want to add one in here. For some reason, I clean forgot to put it in here. Let me just add it in quickly. I've been sort of getting a list of ones that I thought you might enjoy. Let's do that one in there. There we go. All right. And so, Jody, nobody uses aluminum foil in another way. I make funnels out of it sometimes. Oh, Kim says she uses it to stop the cats from scratching at the screen on the door. So how do you put it against the screen? How do you attach it? That's good, because they probably don't like the feel of it. That's an interesting one. Anybody else? I I sometimes use it to make a casserole dish smaller, or a pan smaller. Do any of you do that? I actually fold it up and then, or if I'm baking bread, sometimes I will, actually reduce the size of the baking pan to do a mini loaf rather than a big one. So I definitely use it for that reason. I'm trying to think what else I do with it. You just put some regular tape on the top, not duct tape, but what sort of tape do you use, Kim? Actually, now that I think about it, I have used it. That's a good point, Kim. I've used it in my trailer. When I go in my trailer and it's cold, I take my oil-fired heater with me. If it's going to be really cold, I have a regular ceramic heater in there that I use. But if I'm going to be in there for quite a while and I know it's going to be really cold weather, I actually take my oil-filled heater, and what I do is I put foil behind it so that the heat reflects off the place where I put it, and it works very, very well. Yeah, I've used aluminum foil to make a funnel. If I'm for some reason put it in the windows to keep the heat out. Yeah, reflective side out, right? And oh, there we go. Jody just remembered that she uses hers. Actually, I should take a note of some of these. Hang on, I've got to multitask to do that. I struggle because there's some good ideas here. Okay, let me just add this in. So this was reflection. This one, smaller pan. I can make this better when I get to do it. Smaller pan. And what did Jody just add? Oh, she puts it in her cheesecake thing to stop it leaking. Okay, that's good. What I'm going to do is when we finish these, I'm going to actually get them in a decent order, and then I'm going to attach them. Hi, Carrie. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them up on the website at the DearMamaSal.com website, because I don't know about you, but I keep thinking, I know there's an extra use for this, and I can't remember what it is. And I was thinking, gosh, I would really love to have that collection where we can just go there and go, how else can I use this? All right, so here's the next one. That's very good. I'm glad we did that. Do any of you reuse coffee cans? I'm talking about these sort of ones. And if so, for what? I'm just trying to, I've lost where I've got this. Hang on one second, peeps. I will get there in 1 second. There we go. That's what I need. I want to try and get this as a second screen so that I can type at the same time as see your comments. So just bear with me 1 second. Whoops. Let's hope I didn't nuke that. Okay, so that's good. So Kim's saying she uses it for organization, that she puts her crafts and other stuff into. Yes, I use mine for the same reason. So hang on a second. Let me add this in so we can add this to our list. So organizers. Right. I actually put my crafts in as well. In other words, I will have all the stuff for making magnets in one of them. So that's good. Okay, so Jody keeps her small kitchen items in. Good idea. Now they're a bit like the coffee can I was showing you. Oops, hang on a second. Yeah, like these, right? I definitely reuse these, and I put grains and things into them. I'd forgotten about that. I'm sorry, Nana. I'm not understanding what you're trying to tell me. I'm sure I meant to know what that's about. Hi, Sharon. So I use these for bulk grains, things like oats, rolled oats, or flour, or whatever. Oh, okay. So that makes sense to me, Kimmy. So what you do is you turn them upside down, the metal ones, poke holes in them, and oh, right. I'll get to that in a second, Nana. Remind me if I forget, because we're on coffee cans at the moment. And then turn it into a light. That's a good idea. Hang on. I'm going to add that in, Nana, because that's a good idea. But yeah, it is a different use for an umbrella. Yeah. And a pillowcase is another one for that. Okay, good. All right. So I've just added that onto the end there. All right, so we've got a couple of uses for those. Now, the other thing I wanted to add to this is, you know the tops of these. These are great for putting underneath a plant that may, leak a bit of water, or if you've got a candle and you don't want to put it onto a good surface. I use these a lot. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Kimmy also makes a snowman out of tin cans. Huh. That's creative. Yeah, I find it works really well, I must say. Just hold on one second. I'm trying to just get something to... You use the lid for chips or dips? Huh, interesting. So we've got lots of stuff that we do with those. So, and what about, seeing as we're into those and we're talking about coffee, Jody was saying that she uses her coffee filters, the white ones. She uses them as a snack bowl for popcorn because it absorbs any extra oil. I thought that was really clever. Yeah, Sharon, Kerry, I'm delighted you got to talk to your Grammy. Have you got any to add to this, Kerry? Any things that you use that are unusual? All right, so Sharon's saying she saves the coffee creamer bottles, take the label off, and now you've got a new container. Yes, one of the things I really wanted to talk to everybody about is to think about, have a look at all your cupboards and realize that most of them, if you're normal, about half of them is not used. Hi, Amel. Half of them are not used, from the middle up is not used. And part of the trick is to do more what I call vertical storage rather than horizontal storage. And I'll talk to you about that. Anyway, I just wanted to say this was a really great idea that Jody had about using the coffee filter for to put snacks into, and especially anything that's likely to be a bit oily. Let me think. I use coffee filters to strain paint. And I'm trying to think what else. Anybody else have a funny use for coffee filters? Yeah, I think it's very creative. I'm going to get to everybody else's in a second. Yeah, anything else that anybody uses those filters for? I know what I have used them for. If I crack a nail, I will actually take a bit of that filter paper and put it over the nail with some crazy glue to hold the nail together. You use it in crafts to make angel wings. Wow, we got a lot of stuff, right? Let me just add that in. Angel wings. Ah, very clever. Okay, so um, here's one that I'm certain everybody wants a different use for. How many of you found creative things to do with your egg cartons? Okay, I'm going to add that at the bottom of the list. We'll do plastic bags. That's a good one. Thanks, Kerry. We'll get to that one in a second. All right, so here we go. Egg cartons. Use it to sort beads. Good. Anybody else? Plant seeds. I have done that. Yes. I use it to organize jewelry sometimes. I also use it for my pendants, so yeah. All right. Anybody else? What else do you use? Oh, I know what I use it for, packaging. Do any of you use leftover cartons for packaging? For those of you who've had Dear Mama Sal mugs, some of you have seen them arrive with egg cartons at the top and the bottom. And, my attitude is, boy, why would I buy it when I have it here? Oh, interesting. Look at that one, an impromptu. That's clever. Ice cube tray. Clever. Yeah, the styrofoam ones. Obviously not the what a good idea. If you're short and you need one in a hurry, that's a very clever idea. I would never have thought of that. Well, Sharon, that's why I wanted to do this particular broadcast, because I'm certain we all have got these little things that we do where we don't think twice about it, but somebody else is going to go, wow, I never thought of that. That's a good use. So anybody else use egg cartons for anything else? I'm trying to think what else I've used mine for. I did try it for doing my paint. You know the art that I do. I wasn't very successful, but I did try it. I'm still playing with that one. Yes, and any of these sort of type containers are really good for keeping crafts and things in. No doubt about it. And what I like about them is they fit nicely into a corner and you can stack them all the way up. Okay, let me hang on a second, Kerry. Let me add that to the list so we can talk about towels later. Okay, you're doing great here. Hi there, Becca. All right, so next on the list, let's see how we do with this one. Yes, Kim, a good point. Egg cartons are very good for insulation or soundproofing. I'd forgotten that. That's a very good point. So let me add that in there. Soundproofing and insulation. Good. Okay. Now then, this was Jodi's request. Jodi wanted some ideas as to what to do with empty medicine bottles. And I found all sorts of uses, and I wondered whether any of you use your empty medicine bottles for anything. I have used them to put clips, hair clips, and what do you call them, barrettes and things in when for traveling. I've used them for what I call a mini sewing kit when I travel. You know, you can put a needle and thread and stuff in there. Depending on the size of the bottle, you can carry quite a bit like that. Threaded needles, exactly, Sharon. I definitely use them for things like taking small amounts of shampoo and conditioner. I saw somebody, Jodi, that I thought that was really clever, where they actually stick a rock on the top of it and then undo it and then put the spare key in and then close it again, because that makes it pretty waterproof. And then just, dig it in the garden, and that's where your spare key is. I thought that was a clever use of it. So anybody else got anything else you use empty medicine bottles for? Kerry's saying she uses store beads. Yes, buttons would be. Yeah, I thought so, Becca. Spare buttons would go very well into empty medicine bottles. All right, let's think what else would go well. Yeah, and if you're into crafts, there must be 1,001 uses for them. Oh, I know what I saw. Oh, if it's big enough to put change in for the car. Yes, Becca, not a bad idea. If it's a big enough pill bottle, you could use it for jewelry and rings when you travel. Yes, good idea, Nana. Put some foundation in it for for your purse, or some moisturizer. Jodi says oh gosh, I've got to, hang on a second. I've got to write some of these down because these are good. Moisturizer. What did Becca say? Earrings, etc., like jewelry, pen holder. Yeah, if you actually took a number of them together, Jodi, and strapped them together, you could have all sorts of different size pen holders. Wouldn't that be useful to have stuck to the side of your computer as well, where you could just keep one in there? Yes, obviously, a pill bottle as a pill bottle is its natural use, but I know what you're saying is to take spare pills that were not designed to go in that particular bottle. Now, I've also seen it done, and I like this idea, which is that if you're going, for those of you who are capable of doing this, if you're going to the beach or something, a really good idea to sort of put your money in there. Okay, I'm going to add that on. Hang on a second. We're going to get to that, Kim. I'm adding it onto the list here. All right, so we got quite a few uses. Oh, you know what I saw as well? I saw it for making mini cookies, to use it as a cookie cutter. So I thought that was nice, all right? Now, do any of you use... Yeah, I thought it makes it cute. I saw somebody that actually made beautiful little miniature Christmas cookies from them. It really was, Becca. It was so cute. And they were stacked, in different colors. And it was made, just so you know, for those of you who bake shortbread, it was made in different color shortbreads, and it looked so cute. Okay, hold on a second. You're right. So I think we agree that anything that's sort of this side and this shape, we can use for a lot of crafty type things, or yeah. All right, so here, let's move on to the next one and see how we do. We got quite a few on that one, and I'm certain we can find more. Any of you finding this helpful? Yeah, I want to try the little mini cookies as well. Anybody had a good idea yet where you're going, wow, I never thought of that and I could do with that? Now, the reason I want to put it up on the website is we're going to hear a lot of good ideas. And then I'm hoping that you're like me and you won't remember them all. Do I ever make potato scones? No, I don't. All right, that's good. All right, so here's the next one. I found a really good use for garbage bags. Now, I can demonstrate it in a way. Okay, so imagine this is a plant container. For any of you who've got containers of plants, all right? What I do is I put my plant container into a garbage bag, a black garbage bag, and then I pull the garbage bag up and around and I stick it around the edge and put the earth against it. Do you all understand what I'm saying? This makes the greatest self-watering container. And then what I do, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, like I do, about 3 inches up, I'll put some holes in it so that it doesn't have too much water there. Yes, Nana actually uses her garbage bags as painting clothes. You know, she cuts a couple of holes in it and wears it as a costume. Yeah. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that commercial. Has anybody else? I love the commercials. They use those to keep a save up jar through the generations. Huh. Yeah, I must admit I collect spare change and stuff. Yes, you can use it as a you know what I mean. Okay, so explain that to me, Kim. You use them like that when you do your dishes. Okay, so the garbage one, do you all understand how that works? And then what happens? Yeah. So what happens then is that you actually don't, you know, the container ends up, you know, keeping any rain that falls because it goes through and down and stays in the garbage bag. And there it just saves a whole lot of watering and it works really well. So Nana, if you, I'm just trying to think here how that works. Yeah, maybe you can do that on Facebook or something, Nana. Or if it's okay with Becca, I can. Yeah. So, all right. So, Sharon, I want to tell you, it works really well. I'm actually quite surprised. I've done it 2 years now, and went, why did I not work this one out earlier? So, anybody else use them for anything else? So, some of you use them, you know, as gloves. I think that's clever. You know, when you're about to do something that's wet and you haven't got any gloves, so you just grab a garbage bag. That's clever. Anything else that you use garbage bags for? Um, I've used it. I've used garbage bags as weed inhibitors. You understand? If I got an area where I'm inclined to have a lot of weeds, I will put a black garbage bag down and then plant the plants through the black garbage bag so that not too many weeds come up. In the days when I was doing that. For keeping paint trays wet, yes. Yeah, so it doesn't dry out. I use actually even big plastic baggies, you know what I mean? The Ziplocs for that as well. All right, so you put them in garbage bags. Yes, I think a lot of us use our bags from the grocery store as trash bags or as poop bags for the dogs. You know what I mean? So I think that's a lot of that's a pretty. I think a lot of us do that. That's my only concern about them getting rid of plastic bags. You know, some of us are going to really have a problem because we've always used them for recycling or whatever. Um, all right, so now I think most of you have seen what I do with empty Kleenex boxes, but I wondered if any of you use your empty Kleenex boxes for anything other than mini storage. Yeah. I want to tell you, I am amazed how many things will fit into a Kleenex box, you know, where you can just label it and it's like, all right, these are all my extra light switches, or these are where my Swiffers are. Yes, for crafts, all right. It works really, really well. So so what about milk cartons? Do any of you have, you know, normally we get milk cartons in one of two ways. We either have plastic ones, or we have the, oh, I should get that one. I wanted to show you. Hang on one second. Yes, very good idea. Jody, can you just make a note of that so that I don't forget it? She partially fills hers up with sand and uses it as a doorstop. This is one of those, you know, what do you call it? Tetra ones with the thing on the top. And I just cut the tops off it and use it for anything that needs vertical storage. And I'm amazed how much you can fit into one of those. Nana, the reason I wear the headphones is because that is where the microphone is, sweetie. This is my high quality microphone. But good question. You use the plastic milk carton for as a cat food dish. You just cut it off this. Okay. I have one on the PC, Nana, but it's not as high quality as the one that I'm wearing. Okay, so I use mine for storing, you know, things. In this particular one, I've got these sort of things in it, but I leave the handle on it so that it can go in the cupboard like this, and it's easy to pull out. Does that make sense? So I just cut it down here and then across. So you cut it from the top down here and then just around. Works really well, very useful. And the smaller ones, I also do that with. So I just thought I'd show you that. But it's funny, I'm really big into vertical storage now. And so this one I definitely wanted to show you because I've got bamboo sticks and straws and chopsticks and a meat thermometer, all in just this space. And the other thing is you could actually put this into a drawer and keep them all contained as well if you wanted to. So just a thought. So to me, that was a really good one. Have any of you got a rice cooker? Okay, Nana does. 2, Nana. Okay. Yeah, I use mine for doing, it makes a great slow cooker for a small meal. Do you know, so you don't want to bring out the big slow cooker. And all I do is I will put stuff in mine, put it on high, and once it's all bubbling nicely, I just drop it down to the, where it has that setting where it holds it warm. And that will turn it into a slow cooker. And it works really well. And quite surprising. The other thing is, what I will do is I will quickly fry the meat or whatever on high, just to sear the meat before I use the slow cooker. So it acts like a mini, electric frying pan. And then I can add everything else to it later, or I will quickly fry up the vegetables a bit or do whatever before I add the liquids. So I just wanted to let you know it works really, really well. Does anybody use it to bake bread, or does anybody use yeah, Kimmy also use it. Yeah, like an Instapot. Does anybody use it for anything else? Well, Instapot, there are so many ideas because that's what it's meant for. Right. So I think people are learning how to use it as an Instapot to start with. Yeah, I think it does. If it's just one or two of you, a rice cooker makes a really good slow cooker for one or two people. Actually, for 4 people even. I did it once. Yeah. Does anybody have an Instapot and Nana's asking if any of you have used it for anything other than cooking, I gather. Yeah, really an Instapot is a bit like a halogen oven. You need all day to discuss what it can do, Nana, is my sense. I don't have one, but from what I gather, everybody talks really highly of them. But they are, you know what I mean? We're not talking about what it should be used for. We're trying to find things that we're using in a different way. So, because I think, we all understand. And does anybody have an Instapot that could help Nana? Do you have one already, Nana? Or are you thinking of getting one? I have resisted the temptation to get one, I must admit. Oh, you've got one on a rain check. Okay, well, I am certain that you'll be able to tell us all about the things you can make in it when you get it. I'm sure that you'll have lots of fun with it. All right, so the next one, shower curtain hooks. Yes, the things you put your shower curtain up with. I think you all know that I use them on my hangers to hang extra clothes down. All right, so I put one on each hanger and then I hang the next hanger on there and the next hanger on here. And so I wondered if anybody had come up with any other bright ideas for shower curtain hooks. Yeah, that's why I said that. That's why I said there are 1,001 YouTube videos for an Instapot. Everybody's doing it now. So anybody found another use for those? You hang your necklaces on them. Clever. I've seen people actually hang their squeegee bottles on them. Do you know what I mean? The ones where you press like this? Because, you can just hang the handle into one. That's good. That's very clever. I wouldn't have thought of that. And I'm just trying to think, with a command hook or two in the shower, you could probably hang quite a few things on them. Like your loofah, if you've got is it pronounce it loofah here? You could hang it on there. All right, so straws. Do any of you use your straws for anything other than the obvious? Now, Sakura came up with this one, and I have seen it done. I haven't done it myself, but I have seen it done. If you take a straw and put your shampoo in it or conditioner, and then you just take the end and just put a lighter next to it and melt the plastic, and then crimp it with a set of pliers. You now have a really clever way of keeping an individual amount of shampoo or conditioner. Great for camping, great for travel. Instead of carrying bottles and bottles of this stuff, you can just take them, if you're not taking your medicine bottles full of them. Yes, Jody uses hers to take the pits out of cherries. So what you do is you just take your cherry, and do you do it from the top? I also have done it with strawberries. If you take a strawberry, you can take a straw from the bottom up, and it will take the center of a strawberry out as well. Have you done that? Or you can push it from the top and push the pit of a cherry, as Jody said. I also have to say that if I get a pair of flip-flops that have not got, hang on a second. If I end up with a pair of flip-flops that don't have material here, that have plastic here, I will actually take a piece of straw and cut it down the side and put a piece of straw here so that, you can turn it. It stops you getting blisters. It works really well. I don't know about you, but I hate wearing flip-flops that give me blisters. And I found that I did it one year, it worked beautifully, and I've done it ever since. But for some reason, the cloth ones don't give you blisters, but the plastic ones do. But I actually don't buy plastic ones that often anymore either because of that. So good. Any other uses for a straw? Okay, so Sharon, you store necklaces in a straw. That is actually a very clever idea. To put your chains in it, to stop them from, that's very clever. So you just thread one part of the chain through the straw. Yes, cord organizers, very clever. How many of you, if you split it down the center, it would probably make a good earbud transporter, right? Where you could wrap your earbuds around it and then, into it and then wrap it around. I love doing this stuff. I don't know about you, but it's just like, what else can I think of? Yeah, I like the idea of putting your necklaces in for travel because I also think that's a better security. So good idea. Now then, okay, Nana, no problem. Did any of you know that tennis balls? I didn't know this. Tennis ball will take a scuff mark off the floor. You know something, Becca, that's really cute. Jody's husband Lionel already calls me MacGyver. Did any of you know that if you've got a scuff mark, a tennis ball will take it off the floor? Now, I've got a scuff mark in my bedroom at the moment. I haven't tried it, but I thought I would. So I thought I'd add that in there in case any of you have problems. I heard it also. Yes, tennis balls on the bottom of chairs or a walker, and tennis balls on your hitch on the back of the car. If you've got a hitch, it's obviously a good place to put a tennis ball, which is where mine is meant to go, and it hasn't got there yet. Yeah, I would think that would be clever to cut them up and put them at the bottom of chairs. That's very clever. I'd never thought of that either. Huh. I have put them in. They work really well in the dryer. Yes, Kim, I have seen that. Yes, I've just got there, Jody. Yes, I've seen that done as well, which is, again, if you're going somewhere and you want to hide your money, just cut a hole in it and stick your money into your paper money into the tennis ball. Don't give it to the dog. Or your keys, yeah. Very clever. Good one. All right, so let's do some more here. What about wire hangers? Do any of you reuse wire hangers, the sort you get from a dry cleaner? Or I've actually thrown almost all mine out. I want to demonstrate something. Hang on a second. I'll use my. Okay, it's good to see you, Becca. Here's what I used to do with mine. If this is the hooky bit, and you make it, you pull the two sides together like this, you can then bend it like this and then like this. So this is the hooky bit here, and you can use it to put your cookbook in. Does that make sense? It's difficult for me to show you that, but you literally sort of bend it into an S, and you can rest your tablet or your cell phone or your cookbook for a recipe. So you put your spare keys in tennis balls, is that right? In case you lock yourself out of your car? I touch wood, I haven't done that regularly that I do that. I keep mine in the house. But interesting. Now, um, or you use the coat hanger. Sorry. Do you use your coat hanger to? Yeah, okay. I just realized what you said. So, how? Do you push it down the lock or pull the? By the way, I thought this was interesting. I locked my keys in the car once and it was running. And luckily I was at the airport and I wasn't the first person to do that. And the guy that came to help me from the airport taught me something I would never have thought before. If you've got a little bit of the window open, don't go to unlock the car. Go push down and unlock and undo the window. I never thought of that. You know, literally all he did was he put the coat hanger through, Kemi, and he just pushed down on the window. And so the window dropped, and then he could just put his hand in and open the door. And I went, why did I never think of that one? I guess because I don't break into cars. But it was like, duh. You know, they make it more and more difficult now to do that. To open cars, you know, the door handles are not as easy to do anymore. So I thought that was really clever. Now, Nana was talking about when she cleans her light fixtures, she opens up an umbrella. Now, some of you are superstitious, so you won't do this because you don't want to open an umbrella indoors. But she holds an umbrella underneath or puts an umbrella underneath so that when she washes the light fixture, the dust and any water or anything drops into the umbrella. Clever, right? I've never done that. I meant to ask, Nana, do you actually hang the umbrella to the light fixture? Or do you just have it on the floor? I put a towel down, but it's interesting to think of actually doing an umbrella. Yes, a great idea for ceiling fans. Now, what I also saw that was a great idea for ceiling fans was take a pillowcase and put the pillowcase over the blade and just pull it out. Sharon, have you tried that? And then all the dust and dirt stays within the pillowcase. So it's not floating around anywhere. And I thought I've tried that and it works. So, well, seeing as that Nana mentioned the umbrella, have any of you used an umbrella for another reason other than to? Yeah, I found it worked better than I thought it would, Jody. The pillowcase one. But I like Nana's idea as well. That's clever. I'm trying to think what other uses you could have for an umbrella. I know I'm dying to paint one. It's sort of on my list of things I want to do. Can you imagine original umbrellas? Yeah. All right. So now we're on to the plastic bags. And we talked a bit about garbage bags. So somebody was saying who was it that was saying you use plastic bags in an original way? Yeah, Jody, I'm going to try it with do an experiment with it because I think, especially where I live, that would be a very good idea. It'll be very messy, so I'll buy cheap umbrellas to try it out, but it would be great to try it. Big mess. Yeah, I think most of us use plastic bags for garbage bags or for clean up after the dogs. So I wondered if anybody's got any other uses. I use it for them for packaging, to wrap things that are breakable. And oh, I saw a really good use for it. How about this one? I saw somewhere, I I just remembered this. I saw somebody that took a plastic bag and then sort of rolled it around in the air to get the air in it, then tied it up, and then put it inside a pillowcase and used as an outdoor pillow so that it can rain and the material would dry and there's. Clever. Now, if you wanted to seal it, you could do that with a knife. But I thought that was really clever, and I thought I might try that one year to actually make outdoor pillows that could stay in the rain. So, Kimmy, how would you use plastic bags to make a wreath? I understand that you could use a wire coat hanger, but do you wrap it around the wreath and then feed flowers into it, or how would you do it? But interesting idea. I know this is going to sound insane. I triple use my wet wipes. You're probably not surprised to hear that. Um, I use them to clean my face, and then they go in a bottle, and I put Lysol in the bottle and some soap, and I shake up about 4 at a time, and then I rinse them, and then I let them dry, and then I will use them for cleaning my makeup brushes. Hmm. Okay, so and then when they're dirty enough that I can't get them clean anymore, then I use them in my studio. And I use them in the studio to clean my hands. I use them 4 times. I use them in the studio to clean my hands, and when they get too dirty doing that, I use them to filter paint. How about that for the use of one wet wipe? I'm still trying to work out. I'd have to have a look at that, Kim. So you cut them in strips and then tie them on the coat hanger. Sort of small strips, so yeah, I can imagine that actually. Clever. All right, now Kerry was saying that she cuts up her towels to make into rags, and I think some of us grew up with that as an idea, and pot holders. Anybody else have a different use they have for leftover towels or used towels? I reuse all my face cloths. They go from my bathroom. Once they're not totally white anymore, then I use them in my kitchen, and then I use them as rags. So my face cloths do triple duty. So I'm interested in the idea of what else we can use towels for. I don't use towels as much anymore. I just got myself a robe, and I found. Yeah, and that's, I quite agree, Nana. I think that a lot of parents do that. You give the old towels to the kids to take to the swimming pool because it's probably not coming back. I think that's smart, right? Yeah, definitely don't send good ones. But I found that once I got a robe, I wasn't using towels. I don't use towels as much. I have them in my guest bathroom, but I don't use them. I always use my robe. Okay, so talk to me about the plastic tea container. I'm trying to. Oh, to use them at the bottom of the rectangular mop. Yep, that's very good for cleaning the floors. Yeah. You don't bother to bring them back, right? I like that, Nana. Yeah. Here you go, children, and take these towels. Don't worry about bringing them home. I think that's really cute. Trying to think, there must be so many uses for towels. We'll have to come up with some more. Now, uh, I've just thought of another one for egg carton. While I thought about it, do any of you keep your Christmas decorations in egg cartons? You know, the balls. Well, that's very kind of you to buy them that for Christmas, Anna. Yeah, I believe I've seen it done, and then just literally put an elastic band around them, and that protects them pretty well. So, of the ideas we've come up with so far, which one have you found? Which one did you find most interesting that you're going? I really want to try that. So good to see you, Boob. Um, the whole reason that I like to do this sort of broadcast every now and then is that I believe that we are really recycling and reusing things a lot more than we used to. And so to me, every time that you can reuse something, we're saving the environment to a large degree. And also, I find it very creative. By the way, I tell you what else I've used coffee tins for. They're great to use as Christmas stockings. I actually have, literally put Christmas paper around them or painted them and then put Christmas paper around them and then use them as, to put candies and baking and stuff in. And coffee tins work really well for that. Um, and caramel popcorn you can put in it or whatever. Yeah, the medicine bottle with the rock is very clever, isn't it? I thought so too. I like that one as well. So bread wrapper ties. No, I don't think anybody has. I definitely use mine to identify cables. Do you? What else do you use it for, Boo? Let me add it to our list because that's a good one. Well, the actual ties or do you mean the wire ones or the plastic ones? I use the plastic ones on cables. I'll put one on a cable. Yeah, yeah. But those are not the ties. They are the plastic whatevers. Oh, you use them for the wire ones as well. Okay, I must admit I don't use the wire ones for that. I reuse the wire ones for cereal. When I open up chips or something. Good thinking. Oh, that's another thing. Um, if if ever you need, if you've got a recipe and you don't want to get your dirty hands all over the recipe, putting it in a pant hanger and hanging it inside your kitchen cabinet works really well. I wanted to mention that. It's a really good use for a pant pant hanger. Uh, and the interesting thing is, yeah, pool noodles. That's a good one. Oh, pool noodles are wonderful for all sorts of things, aren't they? Right? Good one. Okay, so Kimmy's saying everything to do really with crafts, um, to put cords, to put underneath a door as a door excluder is a good one as well. Yes, and some put a pool noodle in your boots is a very good one to keep them upright. Nana's saying it kind of makes her mad when her kids won't let her throw out a butter dish on Christmas Eve. I have to recycle. They don't see my whole married life was use or floor model. My son's crib was made from flat. Oh, from flats from your husband's work. Yeah, so you do. I think anybody who grew up, you know, at the time that we did, Nana, and probably me more than you, but we used to recycle a lot of things, and I think it's more a case of the younger people. Yes, you pool noodle to make a Christmas wreath. Good idea. Yeah. Yes, and you know where else? Boob saying pool noodle could be used for a roll cage padding on a kid's race car. You know where else I've seen it used really well is on the side of an RV with a slide on it. They actually put the pool noodle so you don't hit your head against the side of the slide, which I think was very clever. I also think a pool noodle in a child's bed on the edge to stop them rolling off is a good one. I've seen that done. A head knocker preventer. Yes, that's a good word for it. I saw it done and I thought, boy, that is really clever. I love it when people think of things like that. Yeah, he's had his operation. Thank you, Nana. We were talking about that at lunchtime. For those of you who don't know, Benji fell and broke his shoulder blade, and he's had an operation on it. So he's recovering at home at the moment. Yes, yes, Nana, you know everything about them. You always are very clever. You keep up to date. Um, so you cut the pool noodle and use it to put around cords so that your dog couldn't eat the cords. Very clever. Yes, if you've got a sharp corner, you can use them so that the kids don't do it. Um, so that's awesome. I think they make great draft excluders if you wanted to. So, and again, if you're looking for things to put on the bottom of furniture or chairs, I would think they'd be really good insulation, to stop things scratching. Well, we did well, guys. I'm very proud of you all. Yeah, I did suggest to him that maybe staying off the jungle gyms for a while might be a good idea. Yeah. And the sad thing is he's about to launch his book. It's a really, really busy time for him. And so this is about the last thing he needs right now. But as I always say to people, if you don't slow down, somebody up there makes you slow down. So I did suggest that he might want to behave himself for a little while. Poor Judy, because that's very clever. So Beth is saying they use pool noodles to make a tent for her grandson. That's really clever. Yeah, and then they duct tape them together. That's very clever. Yeah, well, I'm sure Melanie's helping, and from what I can gather, the parents are helping as well. So I think they're doing just fine from what I can hear from them. Well, I'm sure it breaks her heart and his. I mean, he's such a doer, and so he actually broke the collarbone, not the shoulder blade, right? Not the shoulder blade, but the collarbone. Yeah. That should heal more quickly, actually. So that's the good news. Yes, Kim, that's a good one. I have seen that done. You can actually poke holes in it and put a hose in it and make a kid sprinkler. Yeah, good idea. I like that. Or a soaker if you've got a kitchen garden or something. So that's a clever idea to make a soaker hose out of it as well. Where you just poke holes in the bottom and then run the water through it. Yeah, I think we all understood what you meant there, Nana. So I'm hoping that this has given you some ideas. Now, about the last thing I need is to hang on to any more stuff because, I'm trying to get rid of so much of it. And what I want is a really creative way, and I thought I would get your guys' opinion on this. A really creative way to make a table that doesn't stay there the whole time. I've seen a great table called the Goliath. Have any of you heard of this thing? And this basically, is about this wide, but it extends to about 12 feet long. The only problem is it's about $2,000. I don't have a wall. It's going to be in a slide. So I'm busy at the moment, but good point, Beth. What I'm busy thinking about is maybe I don't need a table in the in this living room area. What I want to do is I want to put storage around the slide. Because what I do need is storage. And I'm thinking, if I need a table, I could get a card table or something. All right. So, I'm trying to think of how often do I actually need a table other than to do my crafts in. So what I could do is to put storage and a desk into the slide area. Anyway, I'm busy working on it. Yes, I was thinking about that as well, Beth. One of those fold-up tables, right? That would be a good idea. Yeah. So I'm literally I love this Goliath table. If I could afford that, I think I'd get it. It's so clever. But I'd probably wait a while before I got it. Because within the fifth wheel, I actually have a little coffee sitting area. You know what I mean? There's like a little area where you can pull up a bar stool and drink your coffee. And I would think a lot of the time I'm probably going to eat there, or I will eat on my lap watching television or something. So what I would like you to do, yes, not only a lot of vertical storage solutions. What I've discovered, to my horror, Beth, is that the cupboards in RVs are not very deep. They're only about 9 inches deep, and your average plate is a foot deep. So I've got to really rethink where I'm going to keep plates and things. So that's why I was thinking, if I had my QB bookcases around this slide, I could put plates on top of them, in creative ways. And I'm really going to have to be very creative about this. But it'll probably take me a year to work it all out, what I'm going to do with everything. An awful lot of stuff is going to end up in boxes for a long time. But I believe it can be done. Yeah. But the first thing is, what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying, Beth? Is I want to make a U shape of QB bookcases so that I can put my stuff in there. If there's a will, there's a way. Exactly, Beth. Um, by the way, when does the grandbaby arrive? It must be coming up soon, October the 12th. Ah, Jody, can you just make a note of that for me again so I don't keep asking? Yay! So exciting for you. Well, everybody, I really thank you for your input on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that information and then transfer it into the web page so that that if you're going, wait a minute, what was that thing about the rock? So that we can go back and check it again. Right. You know something? That's why I'm not getting rid of my tools, boo. But here's the problem. I've discovered that those cupboards aren't very tall either. But I think you could perhaps store them. Yes, you could store them this way. Yeah, I'm going to keep my tools for a long time. So, okay, so if this is the cupboard and this is only 9 inches, you put them this way. Yeah, they're not very tall. But you know something? It's all part of the creativity of it. So to me, this is, yeah, Nana, I want to tell you something. I am amazed how many things I put down in the garage 6 months ago and I have not touched since then. I think of all the things I've put in the garage, I have only been down to get something out of one box, and that was for Yvonne. She needed something, and I said, that's in my bead box. I will get that for you. So what I'm trying to work out is literally, um, what I'm left with upstairs as I continue this downsizing is what I'm going to take with me to the trailer. You know what I mean? Obviously not the furniture. The furniture is going to have to go. I literally keep downsizing every week. It's amazing. I keep thinking, okay, that's downsized, and I go, no, it isn't. You're going to have to go down one lot again. I mean, seriously, how many frying pans do you guys have? Beth, I've seen yours. I've got 4. Oh, the idea is that you take a pill bottle, boob, and you put some crazy glue on top and put a rock on it, and then put your spare key into the pill bottle, do it up, and then plant it in the garden. Yeah. So I'm trying to work out what I'm going to put into the trailer because I think what I'm going to do is put seasonal stuff like Christmas stuff and stuff like that into the trailer. Uh, the other thing I want to find out is, the not so heavy stuff. I'm I'm amazed how much spare food I've got. Okay, how many frying pans has everybody got? It's just insane. Where I'm going, 3. Yeah, I think I've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got 4, I think, and that's without what's in the trailer. Excuse me. And then all the baking trays. Too many. Yep, exactly. So, and I'm looking at all my baking trays and muffin pans. I mean, really. you know. Now, I will take my good set of pots and pans with me, the whole set. Well, it's not that many, but I am going to take that with me. I'm doing really well with my, baking trays are too many to count, right? So what I'm going to be doing is I will keep the Christmas baking trays in a box for baking Christmas baking, right? That's a seasonal, right? It only comes out when I'm doing Christmas baking. And by the way, I wonder how much Christmas baking I will be doing now. And what I'm also trying to do is now get certain things. I can only have one shoebox full of this sort of stuff. Yes, that's a good use as well. What do you use your old muffin pans for? And you're saying you use your muffin pan or your cake pans for paints for Lucas. Absolutely, great idea. Um, I've been growing it out for quite a while. I cut it off every now and then. It drives me insane, so I cut the bottom of it off. But thank you, Nana. I'm still thinking the 5th wheel. It's going to be a tremendous shock to my system to do it. But I really do think that it's what I need to do. I keep going there and thinking, I want to not like this place, but I keep liking it. It's so nicely put together. Not nicely put together. It's that just he's made such a nice courtyard outside, and the addition is a good size, and things like that. And I'm going, yeah, a beef jerky maker again is something you probably don't use very often. The other thing I was thinking about is I think I can get creative and get some bench type boxes that you can end up sitting on. But you actually can store things in them as well. And I think I'm going to have to get a lot of plastic boxes for to store things in. And I'm starting to do that now. I've got to that sort of stage where I'm beginning to go, okay, fine, now I need the plastic boxes, the ones that are going to go under the trailer or, be contained somewhere else. It's very challenging. Oh, another thing. If you're going to the dollar store, and Beth knows all about this, did you know that they've now got the vacuum bags in the dollar store? But I wanted to give you a clue on those. You know, the ones where you put your vacuum and it sucks out the air? Those bags that you put your winter clothes in or whatever. For those of you who might travel, I did an experiment. I bought a couple and I did an experiment. And if you take the cap off it and just roll it, it will take out most of the air. And I was thinking that's really useful for when you're traveling. You don't need to have a vacuum. You can just roll it, take the cap off it, roll it, and then when it's all rolled up, just put the cap back on. It's not as good, but it works. And if you're packing, good night, Nana. Nice to see you, honey. That could help. As you know, I use Ziploc bags a lot when I pack. I put things into big Ziploc bags. I'll put all my tops in one and I'll put my shorts in another and so forth. And then what I do is when I get to where I'm going, I take them out and then I put my laundry back into the Ziploc bags. And by the way, I don't reuse those Ziploc bags. Those Ziploc bags are just my traveling ones. Does it have a dishwasher? Yes, Beth, it does. It has a small dishwasher. It has a small everything. Oh no, it has a really high-end washer dryer in it as well. And a 50-inch television set. Seriously. And another decent sized one in the bedroom. But a 50-inch television set in a fifth wheel, really. And it's so funny because I keep going there and going, where am I going to do my broadcasts? I'll work it out. We'll do some test runs on it and see what works best. So I think if I can just get rid of 90% of what I've got left now, I'd be doing well, and everything that's in the garage. Oh, Lordy. Well, the thing is this: I've got to think about do the broadcast from the kitchen. Oh, where the coffee is. Yes, Beth, in terms of storage space, number one, I'm going to take my trailer as storage space. Because that's, they will store an extra trailer for like $50 a month. And my trailer is a 26-foot storage unit, as far as I'm concerned. So this is called multifunctional use. The other thing is, yes, I would consider not necessarily renting storage space, but I might actually buy a secondhand trailer just to store things in. Yeah. I've really tried to think of all the options. I've thought about storing my furniture for a year in case I change my mind. That was my intent, to keep my furniture for a year. And if at the end of the year I'm not insane, then I will just let it all go. Yeah. Because I think you'd have to give yourself, when you're downsizing from 2,500 down to 500, I think you need a year. Because first of all, it's going to be insane, and I'm going to wish I never done it. As I'm trying to sort everything out, then I'm going to get into, okay, this sort of works for me. And then I think by the time I need to know what happens during a full winter, where you don't have a lot of light, and will I go stir crazy in the winter? That's the thing I really don't know. And so there's a lot of learning, Beth, and changes, right, that I need to make. But I arrived in Canada with a suitcase, so I've done it before. I can do it again. And actually, I must admit that when I left Africa, I left a room full of my stuff. I didn't have a storage unit. My brother had a big room in his house, a storage room, and I put all my stuff in there. And what I said to him is, if I'm not back in a year, give it away. And that's what he did. So I think that's what I might need to do, is to get a storage locker. And the only things I put in the storage locker are things that if at the end of a year I don't want them, I can just leave the storage locker. I actually found, quite honestly, Kim, I found that an RV is bigger than a tiny house because it spreads out sideways. Most tiny houses don't have slides on them. And this has got an addition. So it really is, quite a nice size. When I say quite a nice size, it's still 500 square feet, but the interesting thing is that I will use my same internet provider. Or, yeah, I will use, because I won't be traveling, it will stay static. It'll be like a mobile home. So lots of things to learn, lots of change. And the trick, I believe, will be not to take too much with me when I move. The wired connection is already there. It's part of the service. The monthly fee includes internet. No, cable, not internet. No, I will use my present internet people. What would you recommend? There's a reason why you asked for that. I wondered whether MiFi is the way to go these days. I'm still thinking about that. The difficulty is I probably am going to get rid of my home phone, and I've really tried not to do that. But I think in this day and age, that you don't really need your own phone as well as your mobile, and especially in a small space. But it'd be very difficult for me to let go of my home phone. Yeah, it's funny. I've thought about that as well, Boob. So I need to look into it a bit more, whether MiFi would be the way to go. I think I'm not sure what the cost is of doing MiFi, but I think I can travel with MiFi as well, right? Yeah. So it's all good learning. It really is. Um, and the other thing is, the other thing that I have is, which clothes, I've got, I'm done pretty well with culling out my clothes. And that's the other thing. But again, until you get there, you really don't know how much room you're going to have. What surprises me is that the bathroom has more space in it than the kitchen. When I say more space, more drawers, more cupboards, if you can believe that the bathroom is better organized than the kitchen. Ah, so you'd have to know whether there is a cell tower fairly close. Interesting. I will talk to the gurus about that and see what they think. Yeah, interesting. So, everybody, thank you so much for doing this broadcast with me, because I think that as we downsize and as we lower our carbon footprint, I think the more that we look at, okay, fine, do I really want to throw this out? Um, do I want to reuse it, or am I just collecting another thing? You know what I mean? I have to be really careful because, I collect just another thing quite easily. And I believe that this whole thing about, if you're going to bring one thing in, throw two things out, I've got to get into the habit of doing that, because, and I need to look at my frying pans and go, somebody wants these frying pans and it's not going to be me. Now, the question is, which one do I keep? Or which two? I think I will allow myself my flat pan, because I use that for my crepes, and one good frying pan. So, it's very challenging. But I really have done pretty well. And I'm busy at the moment trying to get rid of so much of the stuff in my studio, and then getting that into better contained areas. It's going to be fascinating. And where am I going to put my tools? Yep, but I'm going to find room for them somewhere. All right. So, everybody, thank you so much for this. I appreciate it. Keep the pans that have the best handles. Well, I think I've got two that have got good handles, the ones you can actually put them into the oven if you want to. The other thing is, the oven there is just a tiny, RV oven. So I'm going to take my halogen for sure. I'm going to take my slow cooker and my halogen. Don't know where I'm going to put them, but I'll find room. And what I realize is I'm going to have to get all my units in first. Yeah, easy bake oven. Yes, I think I'm going to have that in the she shed. It's not a man cave, but I've got this little she shed next to the trailer, and the guy that's there actually has an easy bake oven in there, and a coffee maker and everything. It's really cute. He obviously escapes his wife regularly, and he's totally set up in the shed. Of course, being me, I said, "And where did you put the washroom?" Because I could see he'd got a fridge in there. He got just about everything. But it was just like, she shed next to the seashore. It's not easy, is it? She shed is not easy to say. No, you're right. But it's clever, and he's built a nice one. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, everybody. So have a super time. And I will see you on Sunday, where we will be doing the Soul Work Sunday. And tomorrow I'm going to do a lot more organizing and packing. And I intend to actually do some art, because I haven't done any this week and I deserve to do some this week. So big hugs to you all. Yes, take care to yourself and good to see you, Boo. And look after one another. But remember, first of all, to look after yourself. Um, Beth, try and take it easy. Sharon, thank you so much for being here. And by the way, Sharon, I was really sorry to hear about, was it Nip or Tuck? Yeah. I just want to give condolences for Sharon. For any of you who have lost a pet, Sharon lost her, I think it's a Yorkie, right? Tucker this week. And so our thoughts and prayers go with you, Sharon, because I know we know the pain of that. There are enough of us here that have, yeah. So take it easy. And whatever you do, try and remember the fun, not the pain. And it's really, I found that even to this day, and it's been so many years now since Bean Bean has gone, I still have all his toys here, Sharon, just to let you know. And, I'm going to put them all in a big bag and just, give away and, let somebody who wants them, just take all his toys or take them to the SPCA or somewhere. Because didn't have the heart to throw away his toys, and now I need to. So, on that sad note, please be careful and enjoy your life, because none of us know if we're going to be here next week or if the floods are going to come or whatever. So, really make sure that you enjoy every moment of your day. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation. And I will get the base of this up, and we'll keep adding to it as we come up with other ideas. If any of you come across any more double uses for things and you go, oh, I should have mentioned this, just send it to me and I'll add it in there. All right. If I think it's one that we need to add in there, I will do that. All right, everybody, a big hug. Thank you. And we'll see you on Sunday. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.